everyone, it's Joe. Don't freak out. I know, a daytime upload is nuts. Assuming I upload this in the daytime. It's currently 1:12 p.m. EST. Unless you're in a different time zone, which the end of the time this goes up, it could be nighttime. But I know, I don't typically upload stuff during the day. However, I have not just, it was like maybe 30-ish minutes ago, I finished the next show in our anime alphabet challenge thingy. It's really not a challenge, it's just an excuse for me to watch some shows that have been on my watch list, but it sounds cooler when you call it a challenge. So the show I finished was the show for letter B, which is Banana Fish, and I am not okay. I listen. Okay, first and foremost, this video will have severe spoilers. Like, I'm going to spoil the ending. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna sit here and cover every single episode, every little detail, but I'm going to spoil the ending. So, if you don't want that, then don't watch this. Or do and just turn the sound off. So give me the view anyway, just cause. Anyway, sorry. Okay, so I finished Banana Fish. Okay, typically I have this pulled up on my PC so I can check everything, but I've got stuff on my phone. So it's 24 episodes. Average score on my anime list is 8.45, which I believe to be the highest rating of any of the shows I've watched so far. Now, to be fair, I've only watched 2 other shows. But let's see. Similarly to the last 2, I don't agree with not that I don't agree, it's just my score is higher than the average, which I give it a 9 out of 10. I think it is a very good show. I also believe it may be my bestie's favorite anime ever, unless I'm misremembering, which if I am, I'm really sorry. Oh wait, give me just a... Oh wait, no, we're good, okay. I thought I had the wrong thing pulled up, but we're good. Also, I gotta try my hardest to not get loud and emotional and passionate about this thing, because 24-hour quiet hours, so I try my best. Okay. Sorry, my brain is not used to doing this right now, and I am not focused. Okay. So this show, I knew nothing about. I knew that it was... I knew that there were some emotional parts. Okay, well, I guess I didn't know nothing then. I knew there were some emotional parts, and I had an inkling that it may be a gay show, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just what I remember reading, that it's like I've seen people be like, it's the most gay anime ever. I can definitely see the undertones. In fact, I think I'd have to be blind and deaf not to. Okay, sorry. Okay, so Banana Fish is a show about this dude named Ash, and he is the boss of this... I'm gonna call them a street gang, because I don't know. I was trying to think of a more professional term, but I'm pretty sure there's just a street gang. He's the boss of this street gang, and he ends up meeting this guy who is over from Japan, whose name is... Oh god, I'm gonna mess it up, aren't I? Whose name is AG. I'm picturing the name in my head, and I'm trying to break down the letters. That sounds correct. And basically, from almost the second they interact, they just know. They can just sense, okay, I like this guy, and this guy likes... immediate, connection, chemistry kind of thing. And the show revolves around this giant conspiracy that the two of them get wrapped up in, and it's like a thriller, and it's a crime thing. I didn't know any of this, so I was pleasantly surprised, because it involves the mafia and all these different just all these different gangs of criminals, and gangs and crime and mafia are like my favorite thing, like genre, like of thing. Like if you put crime into a thing, like it not becomes my favorite thing, but I become slightly more interested in it. Like I know like mob films and shows are like one of my favorite genres, if not my favorite. I was gonna start listing them of ones I like, but all I can think of is like Goodfellas and The Sopranos, so I curse my brain for not working. The Mafia games are masterpieces. There's another one. Except, well, okay, the new one was a little rough. It wasn't bad. It was the knife combat. Okay, that's not why we're here. That's not why we are here. Okay, so anyway, so I started this show. It was a couple weeks back now. I said it's been a minute, and I'm not gonna lie, the first few episodes I wasn't totally hooked on it, but I was like, no. There's got to be a reason. I'm like, there's got to be a reason that my bestie likes this show so much, and there's got to be a reason that a whole lot of other people like this show so much. I've already started it, and I know for the rules of this thing, I've allowed myself one drop. Like I'm allowed to drop one show and like swap it with something else. I'm like, but I'm not gonna drop this. I'm gonna see this all the way through. Let me just kind of push through. Well, I'm glad I did because it's very, very good. 9 out of 10. Very good show. I know I've said literally basically nothing about this show. So yeah, I wasn't totally hooked right away. But then I think maybe maybe after episode, last night when I started watching it again, I was on episode, I don't know, 8 or 9, I think, is where I picked it up at. So yeah, I'd say around episode 5 or 6 is when I finally hit I know I binged it all last night, / today, but I want to say episode 5 or 6 is when my brain was like, I finally understand it, I get this. And I think it's supposed to be like this. My only complaint is when it starts, things, at least for me, were a little confusing and kind of all over the place. But I'm not holding that against the show per se, because I think that was kind of the point. Considering basically the first half of this show, maybe a few more episodes after that, is one giant conspiracy about what banana fish is. But nobody knows what it is. So it's supposed to be confusing, and it's supposed to be this big conspiracy that you're gradually unlocking more pieces to and understanding. So, like I said, I'm not holding it against it. Because I wasn't immediately hooked, and I was also kind of confused at first, I was like, is this really going to be, as good as everybody says it is? Is it really going to live up to the hype? It lived up to the hype. So anyway, it's about Ash and Edgy. Jesus Christ, I almost want to call him Okumura, because I know for a fact I can say that, but I don't, That'll be fine. It's about these two dudes. And basically, while it is also about this giant conspiracy, I'm going to say by the second part of the show, episodes 14 through 24, it just becomes, it was already basically about this. It's sure, it was about giant conspiracy, but it's also just about the two of them bonding and having a relationship and having the greatest friendship ever. These two are the tightest friends ever, even though they've only known each other for however long the show takes place over the course of, which I don't know how long that is, but I don't think it's very long. I could be wrong, but I feel I don't know, because I don't think it takes place over too long of a period. Of course, somebody's gonna comment and be like, Joe, it literally takes place over 6 months. What are you on about? But I don't know. So anyway, you basically, I was in for the conspiracy, and I was in for the gang and the drama, and then by the end of it, I was I'm just here to watch these two be besties and to watch Ash have multiple breakdowns constantly about the fact that he finally has someone who actually cares about him, and it's great, and I love it. At the same time, though, there were a few, and I'm not holding this against the show either. There were a few moments where I was very uncomfortable. The show covered some very dark things, which is fine. I'm not complaining that they did. In fact, I think it's not a good. Well, okay, hold on. There's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't know about it going in, and it made things kind of. I was say eventually, I'm not gonna say I got used to it, but I stopped being affected by it. There's a lot of mention. There's a lot of mention of sexual assault, and especially with children, and them being sold off and used. And it's not. How do I put this so this doesn't sound wrong? At first I was okay, I didn't know this was going to be in this show, and it was kind of making it hard to sit through, because I was this is just not something that is in a lot of what I consume, and it's making me feel very uncomfortable. But at the same time, it was they're covering real things. This happens to people. Fortunately, it hasn't happened to me, but it happens to people. And I'm not trying to say the show is bad for covering such a dark topic. If anything, I think it handled it in a good way. Of course, I have no authority on the matter, but I don't know. It was just different. I don't see that stuff in too much of what I consume, and it was kind of like a curveball that it just to me came out of nowhere, and I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. Tangents are great, aren't they? They start randomly and they end with no conclusion. Also, and I mean this in the funniest way, but I mean this in a not bad way. This show is so gay. I swear to God, every guy on screen. I think there's 95% of the characters in the show are men. And I swear to God, every one of them wants to have sex with the main character. Swear to God, they all want to have sex with Ash. And if they don't want to have sex with him now, they've probably already done it. Swear to God, consistently. And then there's one guy, what's his name? I think it's Marvin or something. He gets made fun of. Well, not made fun of, but maybe that's the word I want. He gets insulted for being openly gay, I guess, and I'm thinking you literally all want to have sex with him. You all want to have sex with Ash. It's not just Marvin, it's legitimately every single one of you. I mean, okay, it's not every one of them. I think there's a couple exceptions, like AG, I think, but literally every single character. And if they don't want to have sex with him, they mention that he's hot. Which I just think is really funny. Because, okay, we're going to make fun of this guy because he's, openly gay. And then 2 seconds later, you're man, Ash is hot. I want to, I don't. Okay, yeah, I was going to apologize that this has not been, remotely a review as more as just me talking about this thing. Because I know originally I wanted these to be kind of actual reviews of the show, but no, I'm not sorry. I think I said this in the last one too, and maybe the one before that. If you're here for an actual review, go somewhere else. If you're here to just hear me talk about this show, good for you. This is what you're getting. I've given up on giving not a critical review, but just you're not getting a review. You're just gonna get me talking about this for however long, because I have things I want to say. Okay, so I talked about all of that I most definitely wanted to talk about. Then there was a lot of, and I've talked about this before, I self-project myself and what I'm going through or dealing with at a given time onto a lot of things. And, this show is about a guy who trusts no one, making a really, really good friend. I'm there to say a best friend who they feel more comfortable with than they do with anybody else in the world. And I maybe have self-projected just a little bit, given my current situation. maybe just a tiny bit. But it made me feel things because it was like, man, I get this. Like, having this one person that you would legitimately do anything for, I get this. Like, okay, there's a scene, and I think it's towards the end of the show. There's a scene where they tell Ash, like, some of the, I'm not gonna call them bad guys because they're all bad guys. There's like all the people in this show. Ash's enemies, let's go with that. They have him meet them in a warehouse, and they're like, "Listen, Ash, we're gonna kill your friend AG unless you shoot yourself in the head right now." And they hand him a pistol, and he does it immediately. He's like, "All right, done." Well, there's no bullets. People are like, "I can't believe you just did that. I can't believe you're just gonna do that." And I'm like, you know what? He's like, I'm like, I mean, that was a little insane. And he's like, I'll do anything for him. And then later, I think AG basically says the same thing. And I'm like, I say, yeah, I say my best friend, I would do legitimately anything for her, which is possibly concerning, but it's also the truth. So anyway, I'm like, I have no structure. I was gonna have structure. I have no structure. We're just bouncing around. I'm just, yeah. Like, I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. I'm rambling so hard that I've lost it. Like, I know I want to talk about the ending, but I'm like, before we talk about the ending, is there more stuff that I want to say about anything that's not the ending? I love the music in the show. I think it's really good. Like, multiple times, like, a track will kick in, and I'm like, this fits perfectly. Like, I don't know what the song is, but I like it a lot, and it fits just right. I don't know why. It's like, like they had this infinite possibilities of tracks they could have come up with for the show, and they picked, like, the best one for every given scene. So the music is great. Like, the vibes and the atmosphere, top notch as well. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. Okay, so this show is set in America. My only real complaint with the show is I'm kind of grumpy that it doesn't have an English dub. Now, I watch things 99% of the time in sub, so it's fine. I'm just like, there are shows that are set in America, and I like for an English dub to be an option because I want to know, like, what English speakers do with the fact that it's set in America. Like this is set, like, in New York. I wanted to see it. Like, I wanted to have an English option, and I wanted to see all these people have, like, a wide variety of, like, different accents in the way they speak, or in, like, you know what I mean. It's kind of like what show is it? It's kind of like Baccano. That is a show that I think fits English better. And there's another show I haven't... 91 Days. That was another one. Well, okay, that one... I do think English fit it better. But also, I'm not gonna lie, some of the accents are a little... But, like, I feel like this is one of the shows where even if the English dub was like, this is worse than the sub, because the sub was really, really good, I wanted to see what they would do with it. Unfortunately, I think the last thing related to Banana Fish English dub we got was Amazon using AI auto dubbing or something, and it was atrocious. So I'll take, like, an actual English dub, please. I don't think we're gonna get one because it's been, let's see, I say that premiered 2018. So yeah, it's been. Oh my God, Joe! It's basic edition. Come on, 2, and then 26. Okay, it's been almost 8 years. Yeah, that's math, I think. 8 plus 8 is, yeah, 18 plus 8. Yeah, no, I think, yeah, my math is good. Yeah, I say we're not at 8 years though, because it was like 2018, like summer, I think. So we're at like 7 point something. There's a chance my math is way off, but I'm thinking it's good because it's just basic addition. I can do addition. If I could do calc 2, I could do addition. Yeah, but, like, it is I don't think we're going to get one. But if we got one, I'd be very interested in watching the show with a dub, because I want to know what these people sound like in English. Also, in my very first video on like the introduction to this alphabet thingy that I'm doing, one of the rules I made, I didn't have to break it, but I broke it because I was annoyed, and I was like, okay, I don't like. One of the rules I made was it had to be a show that I had access to through like a service like that I had, or like a Blu-ray that I owned or something, which this is on Prime, which I possess. All I'm gonna say is I may not have watched it on Prime because Prime had mid ads that would play mid episode and at the start and at the end, and I got very upset by the ads because I felt like it killed the pacing. So I'm not gonna say what I did, but all I'm gonna say is I may not have watched it on Prime. Please forgive me. I just didn't want to deal with the ads. Also, I was like, man, I kind of want to buy this show like on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever. Like that way I could just watch it whenever, since I kind of had to go through like one tiny hoop. So official Blu-rays and DVDs of Banana Fish cost like $140 for 6 episodes. So never mind, that's not happening. I think I saw one, and it was like $30 for the whole thing, and I'm like, okay, that's a bootleg. And then I was on like an official website, and it's like, yeah, here's part 1 through 4 of the Blu-rays, and you can here you can buy all 4 of them, and it's like $140 per part. So that's 4 parts. So 140 times 4 is a number that I'm not gonna multiply right now, even though it's really easy math. And it was like, yeah, each part contained 6 episodes. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm good. No, not doing that. So that makes me a little garbage. Because if I had a nickel for every really good show that I wanted to buy on a Blu-ray, where the only way to get a Blu-ray is to pay a stupid amount of money, I'd have like 2 nickels, which isn't much, but unfortunate that it's happened twice. Honestly, it's probably happened more than twice, but I can only think of 2 examples right now, Banana Fish being one of them. Okay, is there anything else I want to talk about before I talk about how I'm rather upset at the ending? No, I was saying nope. I said the music was good. I talked about the English dub. I talked about parts of the plot. I liked pretty much every character they introduced. I said pretty much. So yeah, I've got the few outliers covered. But I liked how even if the character wasn't necessarily an ally of like Ash, like they were still characters that I was like, I like when this guy's on the screen, and I like seeing him do things. I can't think of the guy's name, but it's the main Chinese dude. No, it's the Chinese guy who is like he's the eldest, or not the eldest, he's the youngest son of the Lee family who hates every one of his other family members. I can't think of his name, and I'm really annoyed that I can't think of it right now. Like, he's a character who like I don't like as a person. I'm like, I don't like you. I don't like the things you do. You cause so much trouble, and you need to die. But when he's on screen, I'm like, he's on screen. I get to see him do things. I like seeing him do things, even if they're really bad. It's kind of like Negan in The Walking Dead. Negan is not a good person. But I love Negan. He's like my favorite character. Whenever he's on screen, I'm always giddy and very excited. Okay. Is there anything else before I get very upset about this ending? Spoilers, obviously. I don't think so. And if there is, I can always talk about it in other rambles. I'm just trying to get as much complete information in this one as I can, since this is the Banana Fish episode. Okay, no, I think we're good. I think. Also, I'm sure there's like a bunch of like symbolism. As they talk a lot about like different books and stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of like symbolism and like extra little details and whatever. Okay, I don't know symbolism. It's not a thing I'm very good at. So I'm sure there's a bunch of like little references hear, like, I know the last episode is literally called Catcher in the Rye, which I think one of the characters was reading, but I'm sure there's some other, like this episode is a reference to Catcher in the Rye because whatever. Okay, I've never read Catcher in the Rye. If there's a reference, I don't understand. Like, there was another episode I think called Rivers in a Stream or something, and it's like an Ernest Hemingway book or something. I'm sure that was I've never read the book. Or Banana Fish is a character in a book written by someone whose name I can't think of. Never, like, I'm sure there's a bunch of like little details that I'm not covering. Gonna be honest, I just missed them. So don't be grumpy about that. Anyway, I think I'm good to talk about the ending now. Nobody told me that the show was gonna have a sad ending, and I'm not very happy. There were sad moments in this show, but I thought these two people, they're from wildly different worlds, and they're wildly different, but it'll be fine, because everything will work out, and they're besties, and they'll get to be friends forever and ever, and they'll get to do things, and, like, Ash is gonna go visit Japan, and it's gonna be great. No. Nope. No, of course not. So we get through the second to last episode, or maybe it's some. Honestly, might still be in the last episode. I don't remember. I'm struggling, even though I literally just watched it. Ash is, he's injured, but he's okay. He's survived. He's good. He's gonna just keep doing his crime thing, and Eiji is going back to Japan. And I thought, okay, that's fine. There will be like a tearful goodbye, and it'll be really emotional. But then, like, it'll cut, and they'll be in Japan, and it'll be great. Or Ash will just choose to get on the plane with them, and they'll go to Japan, and it'll be great. Everything will be happy. They'll be besties. It'll be awesome, because things end happily. They have to. Well, not that they have to, but like, come on, we've built this thing up, and surely it's gonna end well because it has to. No, it doesn't. So Eiji's at the airport, and like every other character ever is at the airport, except for Ash. And he was in the hospital because he also was injured in this whole ordeal. And so before he left for the airport, when he was in the hospital, he gives another character, he gives Sing a letter, and it's like, hey, please go give this to Ash. I know exactly where he is. He's at the library. Please give him this letter. So brings him the letter. He's like, hey, you should go see him off. He's your friend. You should go see him off. And Ash is like, nope, can't see him off because he's my friend. I'm sending him away. I'm sending him back to his world. And I'm like, okay, that's stupid. No, you need to send him off. I'm like, but it'll be fine, because it'll be one of those really cliche moments where he runs to the airport and all will end well, because that's how this is gonna go. It's fine. So he reads this letter about, like, how he's, people view Ash as this scary, violent dude who's gonna die being this scary, violent dude. And it's like, well, no, that's not you. You can change your fate and your destiny. And, like, we're friends. We'll always be friends. I will never forget you. I'll always be, with you. And I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. And also, I need to stop projecting things from my real world into this, because it's making it even worse. But I'm like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then I think in the letter as well was a ticket to Japan. I think, like a plane ticket. I think, yeah. And I was like, great, cool. He's gonna go to Japan. So he gets up and he runs out of the library. I'm like, here we go. Here's the climax. Like, here's the cliche. I'm gonna go run, and it's gonna go exactly the way I think it. And then he gets stabbed and dies. And I'm like, are you, like, my mouth opened, like my jaw hit the floor, okay? And I knew exactly who stabbed him, and it gets revealed. It's like, it's the exact dude you think it is. It's the member of the Chinese gang who, like, got, like, kicked out. I'm like, of course it's this guy. I'm like, but it'll be fine, right? It'll be fine. Cut back to the airport, and, like, we're still getting, like, a monologue of this letter, and it's like, I know, like, goodbye to New York, goodbye to America. We'll always be friends, but I'm not saying goodbye to you because we'll meet again. I'm like, yeah, this is right. They'll meet again. It'll be fine. So naturally, because he's stabbed in the stomach, Ash walks back into the library, sits down with the letter, falls over, and just dies. And then it just ends. Like nothing. It just ends. Like I'm sitting there, right? Like he's like before he gets stabbed. We're reading this letter. And I'm like, you know what? I should pull out the letter that my best friend sent me. Not last year, but I think the year before that for my birthday. I'm like, I should pull that letter out, and I should read it, and I should feel happy and remember my best friend because they're about to go. And like Ash and Edgy are about to go be best friends forever in Japan. Like I should read my letter, and I can feel I can feel emotions too, And then he gets stabbed and dies, and I'm like, I'm really glad I didn't pull my letter out. Someone's gonna jump through my window and stab me too. Like I'm so upset. I'm so upset, and I was not emotionally prepared for that, okay? They were supposed to end happily ever after. I don't care if you're like, well, Joe, it was supposed to be philosophical and emotional, and it's really a metaphor for... I know. No, okay? This was supposed to have a happy ending, and it was gonna be fine, okay? And I will sit here and be in denial for as long as I need to until I am emotionally okay. Because right now, I'm very upset. And I need to stop projecting things onto things that I'm consuming because it just makes it worse. So yeah, that was Banana Fish. It was awesome. It's really, really good. 9 out of 10. Ending. Oh boy. Don't mind me. I'll be here in denial for a little bit. Sorry if I sound really weird. Because there are moments here where I want to get loud, but I'm trying to not be a disturbance. Maybe I already have been. So if my volume is really fluctuating, I'm just trying not to be a disturbance. Because honestly, I want to get really loud. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very upset. I'm very, very upset. But at the same time, I don't want to get in trouble. Okay, 32 minutes later. I think I've said most of what I wanted to say, if not everything. Other than the fact that I need to stop self-projecting my life onto these shows because then I find and make connections and then I get sad. And the ending was stupid and I'm in denial. It should have been a happily ever after. I don't care if it thematically fits better to be a tragic ending. I don't care. Any hooser, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed whatever this was because it certainly wasn't a review. It kind of was, but it certainly didn't end like one. Sorry, I'm mentally calming myself down here. If you liked what you're listening to, leave feedback in the comments below. Subscribe and turn on post notifications to stay up to date on things I post. I'll be back later today with a normal ramble. If I think of more stuff that I didn't talk about here, I will talk about it there. Very good show. I hope you enjoyed whatever this was. I'll be back I won't be back tomorrow. I'll be back later today. I'll be back later today with a regular normal ramble. I guess the last thing I can say is, Bestie, if you're listening, I understand why you like this show so much. It's a very good show. In fact, one day I hope that we can watch it together. However, I was not emotionally prepared for that ending at all. But this is what I get for going into a blind, I suppose. Anyway, I'll be back later with a regular, normal ramble thingy. But until then, bye.